How do you know the person that you're with is your person? How do you know when you found your soulmate? Single guys, should you date a woman who is unequally yoked in her faith as you are? Find out on this episode. Man of the Arena Army, last month we received this cool message from Candy, who wrote, "I sent my stubborn husband your videos so fast. I sent him your whole page. Yesterday we were divorcing, and today we talked. Thank you." What a great story. This month, help us reach more marriages like Candy's by signing up for a recurring donation. Even $10 a month helps us reach families and men like you and those you love. So guys, I want to jump into the meat of the podcast. Today we're going to answer the question, how do I find my soulmate? Or another way of saying it is, how do I know when that gal I'm dating is my person? Before we get into what I believe, I want to tell you a story. So I like watching movies, and one of the movies I've watched over the course of the last 40 years is Indiana Jones. The third Indiana Jones installment is called The Last Crusade. And in that installment, Indiana Jones is looking for the Holy Grail, the cup of Christ, the legendary cup that Christ drank out of. And in the end of the movie, when they're in the room with all of these potential Holy Grail cups, the correct cup chosen will give eternal life. The wrong cup chosen will give death. And the adversary in this movie grabs a cup, it gets in there first, you have to watch the movie, chooses the wrong cup, drinks it, and his life rapidly speeds up. He dies and explodes right before our eyes. And the ancient knight set to guard the Holy Grail solemnly says, "He chose poorly." So when I think about choosing a wife, when I think of how I chose Shanna to be my bride, there are certain things I think are really important for a single guy to address. And so I'm going to give you a couple things. The first thing is this: you need to answer two questions. The first question is, are you a man who is worthy to be married to this amazing woman? So I think you need to get yourself ready. In other words, you single guys, live with sexual integrity. Be wise in your dating relationships prior to marriage. Grow spiritually. Become the man that she has been praying for. Become the man that is worthy of that amazing woman. The second question is this: are your standards for your life as high as your standards are for her? That's really important. So if you can honestly answer those questions in a way that would put you on the same quality or the same level of this woman that you're dating, of this woman that you're in a way vetting for your wife, then I think you can move on to the second step. The second step is this: are the two of you equally yoked spiritually? 2 Corinthians 6:14 says, "Do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers." So a lot of guys will write into me saying, should I marry a non-Christian? That's not the right question. The right question is, should I marry a woman who is unequally yoked with me? In other words, if she's this super godly woman, I'm kind of this lukewarm party animal, you're not worthy of her, bro. If she marries you, she's going to be marrying less than. She's going to have to come down to your level spiritually. Or if you're this magnum Christian guy who's seeking Jesus and you're in love with this beautiful gal here that doesn't know the Lord, something's going to give. When one person's here and one person's here, you guys will meet somewhere in the middle. And I think, or you won't come together at all. And so the question is not, should I marry a Christian? The question is, are you equally yoked spiritually? And if you are not equally yoked spiritually, I do not recommend getting married. I don't think it's a good thing. In fact, I'm a licensed facilitator with a certain marriage and pre-marriage company, and they view marital satisfaction on couple agreement. In other words, the more couples agree on the major themes of life, and there are about 10 of them, the more satisfied that couple will be in their marriage. And spirituality is at the top of the list because spirituality really drives the rest. So the question you have to ask, guys, is, are you equally yoked spiritually. I know people that are married and have wonderful marriages that don't believe in God at all. They're atheists. I know people that have great relationships, and both of them are what I would call lukewarm Christians. I mean, the reality of this, as much as I'd like to say, everybody's got to be a solid Christian, the reality of this is, as long as you are equally yoked spiritually. So that's a bigger question. For me, when I was looking for a wife, I wanted to find somebody who loved Jesus with all her heart, mind, soul, and strength. I was on fire for God, and I wanted to find that person, and I found that in Shanna. And so I was really excited about that. And I want to say this to you right now. I did a word search through the Bible. I went through the entire Bible. Nowhere in the Bible is the phrase soulmates. Nowhere in the Bible is the phrase my person. Do you realize in the Bible, every instance of the Bible, people who got married were chosen to be married by parents or chose each other? There was no soulmate type of response. Your soulmate, bro, is the one you choose. Your person, my man, is the one you choose. So just like Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade, choose wisely. The third thing I would look for in a spouse, first of all, I'm going to ask those two questions. Second thing is I also want to make sure I'm equally yoked spiritually. The third thing is this. Dude, is she good looking to you? I mean, let's be honest. You don't want to marry a woman that you think is ugly. You got to stare at that woman's face all your life. You want to have a woman that you are attracted to. And I don't want to sound simple. I think this is more important than it is for our women. Thank God my wife she would have never married me. But I think for us men, it's important to marry a spouse that we're attracted to. So for me, with Shanna, I wanted to make sure that I was attracted to her, her figure, her face. I wanted to make sure that those things were attractive to me. But beyond the physical attraction, are you attracted to her as a human, as a person? Are you attracted to the intangibles that make up who she is? Do you love her heart? Do you love and align with her values? Do you and ask yourself this, what are the intangible qualities about this woman that I love? With Shanna, I'm going back 30 plus years now. I loved her heart. I loved how she valued being fit and healthy. I loved how faithful she was as a friend. She was in 8 weddings the first probably 3 years we were married. That speaks volumes to me. I was so in love with her, how holy and devout she was in her devotion to Christ, and she was a devoted friend. So I love these intangible qualities about her, and they really attracted me to her, as well as her appearance. So all of these things. So the fourth thing is this, and I've alluded to this, and I'll stop today with this last thing. Do your top 4 to 6 values in life align with hers? For me, it was all about my faith in Christ, being a physically fit person, living in a small town, small city. People were a massive value of mine, and serving in the church. At the time, I was not working as a pastor. I was working in a parachurch organization, but the local church was very important to me. So those were some of the things for me that were very, very important. I love the outdoors, and I needed a woman who would love the outdoors. And so all of these things, economically, did we align? Were our families similar? Demographically? So there were some things I really looked at and made sure that we were in alignment with those things. Because if I marry somebody who's out here, we're going to be fighting to get to here. I wanted to find somebody who we aligned here in most things, and that's what I found. So when you ask the question, who should I marry? How do I find a soulmate? I just want to conclude with this. Your soulmate is the person that you choose. You choose her to be your soulmate. She doesn't just drop out of the sky. You don't pray her into some kind of, mystical experience. Your soulmate is the one that you choose. But she has to align with the things that are the most important to you. And the key thing is that you guys are equally yoked across the board to the best of your ability. One of the things that I ask young men to do is to make a list. Write a physical list down of the things I talked about today. And so that when she shows up in your life, you already have the list, because that list is objective. Once you fall in love with a person, she could be a horrible human, but if you're in love with that person for whatever reason, could be a lustful attraction, your list goes out the window. So make sure you have a list in your head or on paper. I prefer on paper, to where you know what you're looking for, so that when she does come into your life, you choose wisely. Men, if this podcast today has helped you, please consider partnering with us with a monthly or a one-time donation. You can do that at meninthearena.org/donate. Every dollar helps. And remember, when a man gets it, everyone wins. God bless you. Hey guys, make sure you head on over to meninthearena.org. Grab your free copy of my phenomenal, hilarious book. Actually, I did not write this book. You wrote this book. We wrote this book together. This book is a compilation of 100 man laws that you came up with, as well as myself, called Man Laws. 100 ways to get your man card revoked and rules to live by. Until next time, feel the wet sand on the arena floor. Hear the deafening roar of the crowd. Taste the sweetness of victory. Smell the stench of battle. Get in the game. Get dirty. Grind it out. Choose wisely.